Today we're bringing you a bucket list collab of mine.
After that leg break, he got jacked.
Admit to a federal offense on live television. John Cena knows what the he's doing. Is Conor McGregor juiced to the gills?
That's it. That's all y'all motherfuckers out there.
I've had the pleasure of collabing with a lot of people over the years, and today was definitely one of the most, I took a lot away from today. So I'm going to explain. Tristan Lee came down about 2 weeks ago and we hit legs, and Tristan is actually coached by Renaissance Periodization. They do all his training program, and we were kind of chatting about that because his form, his lifts were so good. And like, you can tell when you're lifting with someone that has a program that they're, really strict on what they're doing. It's like impressive. I can notice it right away. And it made sense when I found out that they were doing his training. And so after I finished the tour, like post-workout and stuff, he mentioned that they would be coming in town here at Alphaland. They were going to come for the first time. And I was like, ooh, I would love that contact. Hand it over. If I shoot him a DM, he put in a good word for me. I would definitely like to link up. And so that's what we did. To me, I think their channel is so valuable and unique. It's weird, but I really fell in love with the scientific sort of fitness community way back when Matt Ogus was really popping off. So it was Lane Norton, the 3DMJ guys. Matt Ogus was the marketing pretty much, and the more digestible source of information versus the really in-depth coaches that at that point it was almost really complex to understand what they were trying to say, really long form videos. You had to sit and write notes and stuff, but Matt Ogus would kind of put that knowledge into a template and easier to digest video. And that's where I truly learned for myself how to count my macros. I learned about just weighing my food. I learned about flexible dieting, my fiber intake, just so much that I absorbed in my prime years of learning. That was the first era of going away from the bro science, and just the chicken and rice only, no screwing, or you just have to only eat this meal plan. You have to limit all these different foods. You can't eat at nighttime. There were so many fitness myths that were so popular in the 2000s, even 2010, 11, 12. But when this scientific crew came about, that's really when everything started. I don't know. That's where I pulled my knowledge from, right? And my knowledge base. Then years later, this guy named Jeff Nippard comes into the scene, and Jeff Nippard really dove heavy into this amazing, useful content, digestible content that was and is extremely valuable and useful for every level of lifter. I always talk about Jeff because it's if I could give one channel to go follow to really learn the details about lifting and breakdowns and stuff, I always say to go to him. And Jeff's been the only guy really in the recent years that has been keeping up with that type of content. Of course, you have Derek, more plates, more dates. He's also super knowledgeable. You can learn so much there. But Jeff kind of polishes it up and makes these really nice, well-produced videos, right? Anytime you see a Christian Guzman video where it's I'm breaking down something more specific with fitness, more so on my old channel, I would do these topics, cardio, list versus hit versus all these different things. I would always kind of freshen up my knowledge by watching a Jeff Nippard video or two. Not gonna lie, that's the source to go to. But other than Jeff, there's really been nobody on the scene for the last 5-6 years until Dr. Mike and Jared came on the scene with Renaissance Periodization. Really, I know they've been making content after speaking with them for years now, but I really started noticing their stuff, I would say, in the last 18 months. Their channel has grown to I think they said they had 1.5 million subscribers, but it's a fresh 1.5 million, aka it's a lot of people are interacting with that channel. And it's so motivating. That's been so cool to see from my end, because I have felt I don't know, anytime I do fitness tips or this, it almost feels like I've been beating a dead horse for so many years now. And I've already kind of given everything that I know. and it almost feels like I could be just rehashing information. And man, they don't want to hear this. You guys have already heard all this stuff. Like, how much creatine do you take? What are the basic principles of training? Like, I feel like, I don't know. It's cool to see that clearly there's an audience, a fresh audience that is still like, that is super in need of that information, because I feel it's so valuable. But it's almost like there just hasn't been many channels other than Jeff in the recent years, in my opinion, that make that kind of context easily digestible. So RP, they make it really fun. They make jokes, they crack jokes, they do a bunch of collabs. They've been like on the road all year doing meeting a bunch of people and stuff. They're a channel that pushes the limits on knowledge received, and they make it fun. So I've definitely been like keeping my eye on them and have been hoping to kind of cross paths one day, and today was that day. What's up? Good to meet you, bro. Christian, Jerry, good to meet you. Mike, Christian, so nice to meet you. Scott, Crystal, Jared, Mike, Christian. Now what's crazy is the night, I wasn't sure if we were going to get to collab, or I wasn't in a lot of communication with them. It was more so like, all right, dope, this is the day. And I didn't know what they'd be training. I didn't want to like be annoying in the DMs and just asking a bunch of questions. So I trained my back literally that night before, like heavy, hard. And then of course, hey, Jared, hey, Dr. Mike, nice to meet you. What are we training? We got back, a little shoulder. I'm like, dope.
Shoulders are fresh, chest is fresh, tries are fresh, legs and back are pretty smoked.
Okay. Jared and I will probably be about an hour training back.
Okay.
But really, like, I was pleasant. Like, I have been wanting to, like, in my head, my back training has been my weakest. That's like what I could definitely use the most help with, I feel like, because I always have, when I'm rotating or, letting my shoulders come forward, just the connection that I get with my lats is definitely something I've been getting better at over the years, but it's something that I know is not optimized. And I know that because when I train with Chris Bumstead and we're doing these like chest supported on the incline bench, like dumbbell rows where he does like this different form where you really like to get the protraction and like the stretch, I really had a lot of issues doing that and nailing that. And ever since that time, like last year working out with him, it's kind of like stuck with me. I'm like, damn, I really need to get on my back training. So I was actually very happy that I was going to get to do back again with them, suck it up and just like deal with whatever soreness I had, but I would be able to learn.
I find no matter what, if I do pull up versus the pull down, no matter how hard I push myself on pull down, if I push myself equally on here, way more sore.
Yeah.
On pull up.
Yeah, that means it's got a good SFR for you. So like that stimulus there is really good. Fatigue. The whole like getting away from pull-ups for the lats thing always blew my mind.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to like row for the lats and shit.
For the last 15 years, I've had one goal. 3 sets of 15 body weight.
Yeah.
Still going for it.
Yeah. If you could do that, you have a big fucking back, especially the right way.
Yeah, the right way. Even like for me, the last like 4 years, the back connection I've attained, it's almost like every year I'm just getting more efficient with it.
Same.
And I'm still noticing progress, which even more so now than 8 years ago, 7 years ago.
I'm the exact same. I literally didn't feel my back the first like 8 years of my training or something.
Me too.
That. Like,
I couldn't do a lat spread.
Obviously, but like it's like something's going on back there. You're doing the movements properly, you think.
Yeah.
And then you just get better and better at feeling the mind-muscle connection, especially on the eccentric phase.
Yeah.
And that's when you really start to notice.
Yeah. So that word, when people say I'm plateaued, this is what we're talking. This is like where you got to find ways to break the plateau.
100%.
So I was excited just to kind of pick their brain and ask him some deeper questions about training, about the stretch and things like that. And we had a great lift. I'm sore as hell right now, 2 days later. And I could tell like during the workout, it's a definitely like a slower paced, controlled, extremely focused on the eccentric.
Oh. Whew. Feel pumped. This is like how I really enjoy working out, to be honest. Like I hate when I work out with someone, they're like, I'm gonna kill you today. Like this is like proper training, good pace. You don't like this is sustainable, but like the intensity is even more so than when you think you're going intense and you're dying. This is the preferred type of intensity.
Yeah, the way we like to think about it is like, I could have my grandma take me into the gym and point at random fucking machines until I'm breathing heavy and she's like, thinks that I'm dead. Like my grandma could give me a better workout than any IFBB pro could.
Yeah.
Unless you're actually trying to take something out of the session, like milking the eccentric or learning something about principles during the session.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. When someone's like, oh, have you ever trained with so-and-so? I'm like, no, and I doubt that they're probably just killing me.
Yeah.
Like if you train with like Milos, who does like triceps, this and I'm like, I could also do that for you.
Yeah.
I'd hurt you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
So it's like trying to take shit away
Finding ways to, like one, especially after a decade of lifting, it's like finding ways to make subtle progressions and keep progressive overloading.
Yeah, and just keep the stimulus where it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
Like this is all lats.
Yeah.
Just like pumped out of my mind.
Yeah.
One big thing I realized was like, that all sounds pretty normal, slow eccentric, squeeze at the top. But what they kept both telling me on like every single movement we were doing was that I was squeezing at the top too long.
That little adjustment we just made to that first exercise. So literally just emphasize, like letting yourself really deep, like get deep into that stretch at the very bottom, but like sinking into it, holding it for a split second, 2 seconds, and exploding up versus like coming up and squeezing and then going down. Like let the focus shift from the up top contraction when you're at the top, let it shift to being at the bottom in the stretch. Stretch over contraction on this movement. Stretch over contraction should be the priority.
So I was holding the squeeze. So like, let's say a pull-up. When I was doing the pull-up, I would come up, I would squeeze, and I would then go down slow. But it's almost like they kept ingraining in my head, we want you to explode up. You want to squeeze it, but you don't want to like hold it. Because I kept holding every single rep. It's like a bad habit that I didn't really know was a bad habit.
This is the most controlled pull-up I've ever seen in my life. I'm not gonna lie.
But by just like getting to that peak contraction and then releasing slow, and then more so than releasing slow, like getting that stretch, the very bottom, like dramatically emphasizing the stretch, sinking into it for a 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and even like on the pull-up, letting my head kind of go a little forward and just really, really like almost like imagine if you were trying to stretch your lat on purpose on a movement. That's what we were doing. So it's not like pumping out pull-ups. It's a very different type of movement when you do it like that.
At what point because at the very bottom when you're getting that full stretch, there's like a certain point I hit where shoulders like kind of roll in and I feel like I kind of lose if I'm like keeping chest up and lat engaged, where I kind of like hit that little like that point at the very bottom.
You feel like you're stretching it out the most
without letting that shoulder
if
come
this makes
up.
it feel weird in any capacity in your shoulder, just don't go that deep.
Got it.
Stretch the lat fully. Hang out there for a second.
But stay
feel
retracted.
It, and then come up. Yeah.
And stay retracted though, right? Because you can't lose that like.
You don't necessarily have to.
Okay.
I come all the way down. I actually push my shoulders.
Yeah, your
into
shoulders
that
go
position
in.
On purpose. I feel better stretched that way.
Got it.
Yeah.
I'm doing it now. My neck's cracking. I'm like, oh god.
You're not taking tension away from the back by doing
stretching
that.
it more like
people will
that.
say, like it's just not a thing.
Got it. Yeah. So like, how many off days are you looking like?
One
now?
off day. 3 to 4 of my days in the week are 2 days. My legs are generally like one time.
Got it.
Generally.
So you're training 5 days a week?
6.
Damn. I've backed off my volume a bit in the last like year and a half.
Yeah.
Kind of hitting like the 4, sometimes 5.
Yeah.
But I'm growing.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And especially the more advanced you get and the better you get at training.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah.
You can get away with it for sure.
Yeah.
My volume is less actually. I just split it up.
Big- a
Like,
lot
I might
of
be doing
splitting.
8 sets in the PM. Like this session by itself is gonna be like 9 sets total, and this is like a hard week of my mesocycle. Like I'm basically about to deload.
Got it.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
9 sets on this one.
9 sets for back only. So rep range here, like after that, what's the kind of
Like
main?
10 to 15. That's why I put it up a little bit.
Got it. Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Same tempo, stretch, everything identical.
Stretch, yeah, and then on this one, I try to really pull up and back. And
More- like
almost
more
overly
chest up?
lordotic in the lower back. Yeah,
More
like
chest
thoracic
up?
extension, exactly.
Gotcha.
Chest to the ceiling. Beautiful. Good shit, man. Good shit. Look back. Hell yeah. Good stuff, Christian. Damn.
What are you teaching? You are still teaching like group classes and stuff? Yeah. I just started volunteering literally this week. The summer program just opened in the mornings at 7:30 and 10:30. They got group. It's where I used to go down the street through all high school, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, strength and agility training. But back then it was, you know, my idol coach would be hard assing everyone, blowing whistles, and now he sold it, and so I went to go volunteer, and now everything's on the app, and it's just like, but I'm just helping with form and stuff. I so miss that. I've never done it in person or anything. It's always just been online for me, and I've always wanted to do it in person. So like, yeah, I got a dab at the end from the student. He was like, "Thanks, coach." I was like, "Oh, that feels good," you know.
Try to go just as deep as you were, but take a little bit more narrow grip.
Okay. About right here.
More.
Here. More.
Yeah. Right there. Yeah. And then try to go as deep as you are. You'll feel a better stretch that way. Because then it's kind of pulling you up this way instead of out.
Yeah, it's little things that can make you improve your training over years that just make training exciting. It's easy for training to get boring, especially if like you're not looking for ways to level up your form, to progressive overload. You're not like it's easy to kind of get in a routine and a rhythm and not really focus on ways that you can improve.
I'll work upstairs, you know.
What's your biggest size?
Triple X.
Okay, maybe I can fit into one.
Yeah, we sponsored Nick Walker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
I do his training.
really.
Yeah.
Like do his programming?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dope.
Yeah. He was using the RP app for a long time. I was programming through our app, and then he
That's
just.
so funny you say that because Juan, have I not said that Nick Walker is the number? Like, if I recommend anyone to look at training, I recommend Nick Walker's
Yeah, man.
training, and they're behind it. That's so funny.
Yeah, I was
That's
doing this
so
shit for
funny.
them.
I've literally made that statement because it's just that's the only like big lift that really trains like so good and efficient.
Yeah, I changed like one or two things when we trained together, and that was just like,
Yeah.
he really took it and ran with it. It was sweet.
Because the stretch is like the second chapter of back training. I feel like.
I wish I would have done it a lot sooner, to be honest. I probably would have had better back training.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Mind muscle connection is a weird topic because when people think about it, they think squeeze really
Yeah.
hard mind muscle connection. But I always try to tell people like
Full range stretch.
eccentric. If you can really connect with the eccentric of any exercise, you have an amazing mind muscle connection. Like
And-
squeeze hard at the top, but just really milking.
What movements, if any, is the peak contraction beneficial to hold on to that for a split second and almost like push more blood
I
in?
honestly don't inherently think it's necessary for too much at this point. It's nice because it does limit the amount of reps you'll do because you're squeezing the peak
Yeah, you're
contraction.
exhausting
I'm
it.
never going to tell anyone to not use it.
Yeah.
I think eliminating it's like eliminating an entire food group, if you ask me. Like the diet's just not going to be as good.
Got it.
Right? You probably will have some success on it, but it's just not going to be as good of a diet. You're probably going to crack at some point. So like squeeze the biceps and then nice and slow. Hard squeeze, nice and slow.
But
Really
not
emphasize the eccentric.
and don't stay in that squeeze. So don't be like don't do an isometric hold
Yeah, exactly.
for what, like keep it a second and a half
Like
or
a
so.
nice peak contraction and
Yeah.
1 second, 1.5 seconds.
Got it. The more like steady, the better.
Yeah.
Got it. That's a great tip. It's hard to implement because when you're if you're doing that chest flight, you know,
Yeah.
it makes you almost exhaust yourself easier.
The cool part is you're actually getting more out of the eccentric. So if you can't come all the way up on that pec fly and you can like get it to here, you can start doing some
The
length
strength, the
approaches,
lengthened is where the most benefit is anyway.
as far as we're seeing in the literature.
Yeah.
Which means
I'm not good at this one, I'll tell you that.
spine, and then arch and touch your tummy out.
So when you're stretching, the cue is keeping the chest up. Is that or not at all?
Not
Just
for this.
focus on literally.
Rounding
Yeah,
your whole back and then arching your whole back.
And when you're coming back after your stretch, do you like brace this first or no? Just literally like
Nope, you just arch
pull.
your whole back and stick your tummy out. And then
A
round
gradual-
over, and then arch up.
Got it.
Big stretch and then a little tiny contraction.
Okay.
Just touch it and go.
and about here.
Wherever it's comfy, a little narrower is fine. Oh.
I like this.
Lower elbows or that good? Do you use your home gym as much as you thought you would
I mean, like,
when you're home? Or do you like go to the gym still?
I never go to the gym. Ever.
God.
Best gym I've ever trained at.
In your home?
Oh, yeah.
Damn, I'm just never gonna come back here. I'm only gonna be at home.
Right.
Yeah, I can't wait.
It used to be like round.
He was the face. He would take pictures. Not no more. Home gym.
Curling in front of the mirror.
Yeah. But y'all's channel was the first. When I swear it wasn't long ago, but when I noticed like, oh, there's like an add-on. Yeah, I was like, oh shit. I was like, maybe I could start one. And I'm like, oh.
Do it, man. If you film any vlogs that you just haven't put out, random fucking stuff in your day to day, just throw that shit on our members.
Yeah.
People want to see it, man. They love seeing what you do every day.
Yeah.
That's the thing about all this. It's weird, and like to us because we've done it for so long. It's like,
Yeah.
why would you want to see what I'm doing? But they do. They genuinely care.
I feel like y'all,
It's cool as fuck.
it was motivating to see y'all's channel like grow so quick because like I really feel like the fitness specific training.
like
It's
it was
like
going
we
down,
only
right?
had Jeff.
Yeah.
And that's a one video every month or so, you know. And so to see like the interest is still there is really exciting.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the best it's ever been.
It-
And more people should be like,
yeah.
and I think people are trying now, which is cool. Shit.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I'm not with a show in mind or anything. I've always done shows kind of for YouTube in a way.
Yeah.
Extreme bulk, extreme cut.
Yeah.
This is my first time where I'm like, with nothing in mind, but it's like getting down, and call it lazy, but
It's nice.
only putting carbs around my workout has been, and let my fats and protein, like my fat go higher, and it's really been like an easy way for me. Just like I've never maintained like a 200 or 202.
It's like a cool mentality to be like all in and shit. But most people for like the first 10 weeks of a prep, you coast.
I just worry that,
Neurotic.
and now I'm just gonna get so used to the lower carbs, and I've always been a diet on over 300 grams a day, carb, and keep the fat like 60, 55. But now it's like with the fat higher and my carbs being so much lower, and me plateauing almost, it's like, am I training my metabolism to react to carbs and almost like inflate my weight up in a way, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, when you put carbs back in, your weight's going to shoot up anyway, but it's mostly going to be intramuscular.
Yeah.
So,
You'd never know it all. You can always learn from other people. That's the message of this video. Thank you, Dr. Mike. Thank you, Jared, for, training with me. Had a lot of fun. I think they're going to be coming back here in a few months, and we're going to be doing a full tour of Alphaland. Can't wait to do that and show them around. They had to be in and out because they had a podcast to get to, and then they were flying back home. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Give it a subscribe. Give it a like, and be sure you subscribe if you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one.